Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins is our guest. Fergie, when you think back to your playing days, what first comes to mind?
Well, it's like these young men put the uniform on, go out there and loosen up, and you get ready for, especially pitchers, shagging the outfield, ready for batting practice. It was a lot of fun to do that on a daily basis because you knew you had to be at a park at a certain time. Especially, during baseball on Wrigley Field, I had to be up at 8 o'clock every morning. You had to be at the ballpark at 8:45, be dressing on the field at 9 for batting practice.
What was that like? You had all that success with the Cubs, playing strictly day baseball.
It was fun. I learned how to win early out of the Philly organization. I came up with them when I was 21, but I signed with them right out of high school. I was 18 years old. But learning how to win and to be consistent, which was it wasn't a task. It was just it was a job. And when you learn how to win, it's an enjoyable game. You know, I really didn't have what you call a bad losing season. I had a few seasons where I was like 500, 14-14, or 16-12 or something. You know, but other than that, I had some winning seasons. So that's a lot of fun when you win.
All those 20-game seasons. When you talk about learning how to win, is that different from learning how to pitch?
No, pitching is totally different because most of these young men you see now are still throwers. I learned early how to set the hitters up, how to change speeds and location. I think once you are able to accomplish that, it makes the game a lot easier for you and maybe even the ball club, guys that are playing behind you. Because I always pitch fast. You know, guys didn't sit back on their heels when I pitched. I made the hitter do part of the work. And if you were going to take pitches off me, I was going to head of you quick in the count. So I tried to stay in a pitcher's count.
Was it a major adjustment for you and the Cub players when you would go on the road and play those night games?
Not really. You know, I always focused in on who the starting lineup was and the starting pitcher against me. And a lot of times I got a Drysdale or a Gibson or a Seaver, to name a few guys. But, I mean, that was the challenge of trying to get the hitters out and to win ball games, as many games as possible per season.
When you'd face a great pitcher, did you say to yourself, okay, I want to get in a position for my team to be able to win this game, keep them in that position, or did you say, I have to be better than that guy tonight?
Well, that too. Well, first of all, you got to tell yourself, hey, the challenge is to get the hitters out and to stay in the same position as your starting pitcher. If he's going to go 9 innings, you're going to go 9 innings because he's not out there to go 4 or 5, especially some of the named guys, guy like Marichal or Perry, and as I said, Seaver. I mean, these guys were out there to pitch 9 innings to win a ball game. And the nice thing about it, the challenge was to stay, I think, ahead of the hitters in the count and to give up few runs because tough winning a ball game. I see some of these pitchers give up 7 or 8 or 9 runs in 4 innings. I mean, how can your team battle back from a 9-run deficit? Sure, giving up 3 or 4 runs may have a chance. And I try to keep the ERA low. If you keep it in the 2s, you're only giving up a few runs a game.
Those years when in the late 60s, early mid-70s, you were winning 20 games with the Cubs, I thought the National League was simply phenomenal.
Well, it was. I mean, every team had a ton of good hitters and good pitchers. And it was a 4-man pitching staff. So when you went out there to pitch, you knew you were going to face a top-notch pitcher against you and a pretty good lineup. So to keep the run score low, you had to do your job, minimize your mistakes, and not give up a lot of runs.
You also had success in the American League with Texas and Boston. What was it like coming over to the American League?
Well, the DH, I had a pretty good hitter hitting my spot. I had a Jim Rice in Boston or Bernie Carbo. In Texas, I had Jeff Burrows or Alex Johnson. I mean, that was the nice part of it. You know, you knew that you had to go out there and pitch. You might pitch a few extra innings per game, but you had to continue to stay ahead of the hitter.
You pitched in Boston, as you mentioned. As you talked about earlier, you worked quickly. Carlton Fisk was known for being very slow and very deliberate. What was it like working with him then?
I used to tell him before we had a game plan to go out there and say, hey, Carlton, you don't need to run out to the mound to talk to me. I know what my job is to do, throw strikes, stay ahead of the hitter. We had a game plan prior to the game. Let's stick to it. You know, if we want to talk, we'll talk in the dugout.
Did you get him to speed up between pitches too?
Oh, definitely. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. I want to have that baseball because I knew what I wanted to do with it.
Take us back to the day you were inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, it was a lot of fun. It was enjoyable. I knew what my speech was going to be all about because I memorized it. A lot of these guys now, they have a portfolio. When they come to the podium, they had a talk. They have 5-6 pages. I had a little cheat sheet of a point by point who I wanted to thank, the scouts that signed me, my mom and dad, thanks to the Chicago fans, Texas, and also Boston, and then go sit down.
Final question. What was it like growing up in Canada, aspiring to be a baseball player? You didn't have the greatest climate, obviously.
No, we started a lot of times seasons in May. I was a hockey player. I could notice playing hockey first, and I played a little basketball in high school. But, I mean, baseball was my third sport, so I wasn't really into baseball that much. And then when the scouts thought that I had a decent arm to be a pitcher, they made me work at it. And I threw a lot in the winter months in a local gymnasium, and I found out that pitching might have been the quickest way to get the big leagues. I concentrated more on pitching.
Fergie, great to see you. Congratulations on all you achieved, and thank you very much.
Pleasure. Nice talking to you.
That's Fergie Jenkins, and this is the Indianapolis Indians Broadcast Network.